and just to make sure. Someone's always like driving around in a car and a kid is like unmuting their phone every 5 seconds. Anyone ever been on one of those calls? That's super fun.
This meeting is being recorded.
I'm so excited to be with you guys tonight. If you don't know, my name is Josh. I'm your push coach, and I am the host of this virtual leadership summit over the next 4 days. We've got lots of groups with us tonight. We've got people that opted in for the virtual leadership summit. We've got my Push Elite group plus a whole bunch of their ladies on with us. I think we've got a bunch of our life coaches on here, as well as our master coaches. Tonight's going to be freaking epic. The next 4 days are going to be absolutely amazing. The whole goal of the next 4 days is just this. Do you know that sometimes leaders get discouraged? Is it just me? Am I the only one? Or do you guys? Leaders sometimes get discouraged. And there's a couple things we need as leaders. Number one, we need ongoing training because we need to constantly be sharpening our skills. Okay. That's something that John Maxwell taught me. I went through John Maxwell's program back in 2014. Leaders are always growing, always. Okay. We don't sit still. We don't wait for other people to solve problems. We learn, we grow so that we can solve more problems. But the other thing that they need is support. And so what we want to do over the next 4 days is give you a ton of tangible tools. One of the promises I made with the ads, the emails, the posts, everywhere that you saw it, was that we were going to teach you how to grow a bigger brand so that you can reach more people. We're going to teach you how to have more sales, and we're going to help you lead people. Okay. We're going to do all of those things. And one of the things, it's hard to see because my camera's not high enough. I wear this light bulb. I don't wear it. It's tattooed on me. But yeah, I guess I do wear it. To remind myself that as a leader, my greatest job is to be a light. And so over the next 4 days, we're going to give you some amazing, tangible tools, access to some incredible, powerful leaders. And my goal is to light your soul on fire, because if you are a leader, you need to get your cup filled so that you can go serve other people. You guys cool with that? So tonight is kind of like what we're calling like our kickoff, like our main event. Okay. So tonight it's myself plus the headmaster coach on my team will be joining me here in a little bit. We've got 4 other sessions over the next 3 days. You should have all of the information for that in your emails. But if you have any questions at any point, you can email my team info@joshcoates.com. Does that sound good? Tonight, for the main event, we're going to do some giveaways. Does everybody like free stuff? If not, it's cool. You don't have to participate. But if you like free stuff, we're going to give away $300 cash tonight. All you got to do over on Instagram. Is everybody on Instagram? If not, go get one right now. You got like 30 seconds. Go make it happen, okay? You might have to do some like double verification stuff. It's fine. We'll get you set up. It's all good. I want you to tag me. I am Josh Coates _ push coach. No E in my last name. The name is literally at the bottom of my square. So please spell it right, okay? I want you to either take like a screenshot of what you see, or you can grab like a selfie with us in the background, whatever feels good to you, okay? I want you to share it on your stories on Instagram, and I literally just want you to tag me, okay? If you want to put something fun, couple of emojis, whatever you want, that's totally cool too. But I would love for you to get it done now so that we can pay attention to the training. And we're going to do some giveaways before we get off of the training tonight, okay? The one thing I'm going to ask is, I've got a lot packed into tonight's call, okay? And I know my East Coasters wanted to go to bed like 3 hours ago, but here's the thing. If you're on the East Coast, it's a little bit late. If you're on the West Coast, you might have literally just got off work. And the reality is the only right time for everyone is like never, right? I've got some friends in the UK. I think it's like the middle of the night right there. Love you guys. If you're here, man, I love you. Got some friends in Australia, okay? So like everyone's on a different timeline. But what I'm going to teach you tonight, how many of you would be okay with like missing out on 30 minutes, 40 minutes of sleep tonight if Josh taught you something that literally helped you to create the life of your dreams? Would that be worth 30 or 40 minutes of sleep? Would that be worth, I don't know, like telling the kids they can have Pop-Tarts for a bedtime snack this one single time, or telling the significant other that they can have their favorite meal this weekend, or whatever you got to do. Just hang out with me because I need about an hour and a half of your time. Can you give me that tonight? And I promise I will make it worth it. Sound good? Because tonight's presentation, I want to pull up my slides, is how to become an elite level leader. Some of you might know this about me. I run a program called the Push Elite. I have people from lots of different backgrounds underneath my brand. We've got lots of health and fitness coaches. Show me Jazzy if you're a health and fitness coach. We've got life coaches. Show me some Jazzies if you're a life coach. And then sometimes we have realtors, we have insurance salespeople, we have lots of other people too, which is cool. So I run one program called the Push Elite. I've helped 7 different people go top 10 in that specific company. I've helped 100 plus of them to go elite. And so what I'm teaching you tonight is kind of some of the basic principles that I teach inside this program called the Push Elite. That is kind of a combination of what I teach in my life coach certification, as well as what I teach around sales and marketing. So tonight is going to just be like a big, like, I don't know, freaking, like, what is that called? Like, is it a stew when you put a whole bunch of stuff together in a big pot? Is that a stew? Yeah, tonight's going to be a big stew of all of these different things that are moving in your business that are either working for you or working against you. Sound good? Okay, you guys ready to dive in? Real fast. I'm going to give like the quickest bio in the world for those of you who have never heard of me, don't know who I am. I have a podcast called Your Push Coach. Would love for you to come hang out with me over on iTunes podcast or Spotify. I'm also a mentor and life coach. Run a program called the Push Elite. Run a program called Life Coach Certification. It's not called Life Coach Certification. It's actually called Push Coach Certification School. That was weird verbiage. Okay. Tonight, I want to start with this. If we can do anything we put our mind to, how many of you have said that before? You could do anything you put your mind. We say it to our kids all the time, right? It's so easy to say to our kids. How many of you give better advice to your kids than you do yourself? Anybody? We're all guilty, right? So if we can do anything we put to our mind to, tell me why business can be so hard. And I just want to see over in the chat thread, what makes business hard for you? Can you guys share with me a little bit while I take a sip of water? What makes business hard for you? Someone said doubt. Limiting beliefs, my self-doubt, the unknown, time management, doubt, fear. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and participate. Would love to see your answers as well. Fear of failure, rejection. Oof, I saw like 3 rejections in a row. Did anybody else catch that? Scared to talk to strangers, avoidance, fear of failure, rejection and doubt, fear, doubt, time, fear. A lot of fear, isn't it? So we can do anything we put our mind to, but it sounds like maybe there's some things holding us back from putting our mind to it. Would you guys agree with that? A lot of that is fear stuff. A lot of that is a lack of organization or time management. It sounds like if I could help you guys to knock out your fear tonight and maybe manage your time a little bit better, we'd all be freaking rock stars ready to take over the world. Would you guys agree with that? So what if we focus on that? So here's some things that I wrote down, and I'd just like to see from you if you agree with that. You have to build a following, but maybe you don't feel interesting enough. Maybe you're not pretty enough. I kind of intentionally put the IG girl over here. This isn't what I look like, obviously. This is just what we all think we have to look like to be on Instagram. Don't have the time. Definitely some people said that, right? Have to make sales, but too introverted. Hate small talk, or maybe you don't want to be salesy. Maybe you're just really afraid of being the guy in this picture. Is anyone like, when you go into conversations, you're literally afraid of churning into this guy? He's got like 2 different phones going on and he's yelling at both of them. That's pretty amazing. Need to lead a team, but not successful yet. Don't have the right systems. Afraid of letting people down. Does anybody relate to any of these things? I want to talk to you tonight about someone I call the Flatiron guy. Some of you have heard me use this story before. It's one of my favorites. Has anybody ever been, I know like we don't all go to the mall anymore. It's not 1994, but if you're as old as me, you remember going to the mall And there's always this guy at this kiosk, right? And he's got a flat iron. And he's like watching. His eyes are constantly moving. He's watching the people. He's looking to make eye contact. And how many of you know rule number one with the flat iron guy is don't make eye contact with the flat iron guy? Would you guys agree with, like, don't do it? Just straight at kids. Don't. No, kids. It sucks when your kids get old enough that they try to talk to your kids, because then you got to like tackle your kids. No, don't do it. Why is that? What's going to happen when you talk to the flat iron guy? Maybe some of you have learned from experience. I've never even talked to the guy, but I still have this idea of what's going to happen. And my idea is this. This guy who is dressed so cleverly and he's got his Italian shoes on and his hair is like perfect, he is going to know the exact things to say to make me feel like I don't have a choice. I got to sit in that chair and let him play with my hair. And then I'm going to walk out of there somehow, some way. I'm going to spend $500 and I don't even know what I got. Now, I've never actually even done this, and that's what I'm afraid of. Anybody else? Is anybody ever, come on, like be real with me for a second. I've obviously never fallen for it because, not enough hair to flat iron anymore. Early 2000s, I had some flat iron going, but how many of you have actually sat in the chair of the flat iron guy? Jazzy? How many of you have spent some money at the flat iron guy? Couple of you. How many of you are proud of the fact that you spent money and can't wait to go back to the mall and see him again? All right, that's kind of what I thought. So some people have spent money with the flat iron guy. Nobody is very proud of it, and nobody is going back for repeat business. But right next to the flat iron guy is usually a store. I'm just going to use an example that we've all heard of, at least, American Eagle. And while flat iron guy is trying to make eye contact with every single person, talk to every single person. I mean, the dude has got to either drink as much pre-workout as I do, or he's on drugs. I don't know which. I'm hoping it's the pre-workout, right? Much healthier. Either way, guys going crazy. You've got a store like American Eagle, has traffic just naturally flowing right into it. Has some mannequins set up in the window that are attracting you, make you want to go in, make you feel comfortable and safe going in. Now, there's, of course, some stores that are a little more on the salesy side that you don't always want to go into. I've had that experience at the Buckle. They're a little more trained to like corner you and try to get you to buy $70 jeans that are torn in half. But most of the stores like American Eagle, you just walk in, you grab stuff, you like it, you buy it, and you go back. And you're even proud to wear the brand. And you are excited to go back. You love it when you get things in the mail from them, right? You're just like, oh my God, I got coupons or Gap. I got a lot of Gap cash. Can't wait to go back in. It's like this exciting thing. Now, here's the thing. How many of you would rather be American Eagle than the flat iron guy? Show me Jazzy if you're like, yeah, if I had to choose, like, I'm going to take American. Now, let me ask you this. When you think about your business and the way you're currently doing business, are you American Eagle or are you the flat iron guy? Are you the person who naturally has people walking into your store, excited to talk to you, want to see you, proud to work with you, can't wait to tell their friends about you? Or do you feel a little bit more like the flat iron guy on social media, trying to find every single human you can, talk to every single human you can, and maybe that's creating some of these limiting beliefs you have about the fear of rejection? Does that make sense to anybody? Does anybody feel a little? I didn't see a lot of exciting people when I said how many of you feel like American Eagle. So would love to see in the chat how many of you feel a little bit, and no judgment, no shame. How many of you feel a little bit more like the flat iron guy? And so here's the thing. I have found that most people pretty naturally become the flat iron guy, not because they want to, but because they don't know another way. So I want to show you something. Well, first I'll show you my fun slide because I just like to show off the Flatiron guy. Does that look like about like the Flatiron guy? That's him, right? Yeah. Basically, Josh is one spike and some better groomed eyebrows away from being the Flatiron guy. The key to high level performance is not how hard you work, but the strategy with which you do that work. The key to high level performance is not how hard you work, but the strategy with which you do that work. How many health and fitness coaches did we have again? Show me some jazzies. What's more important, going to the gym for 4 hours a day or 30 to 45 minutes of very intentional work? Which one? One or two? Say two. How many of you have had clients that are like, I'm not losing enough weight. I must need to work out more. I must need to cut my calories more. And you're like, whoa, time out. Okay. If we go too low on the calories, we go into starvation mode. That's not good. If you go too high into the workout, what happens? We start to exhaust ourselves. Start to really screw up our hormones and lots of other stuff going on. Would you guys agree with that? Business is the same. This next thing I really want you to grab. If you need to take a screenshot, go for it. Grab as many screenshots as you want tonight. Perfecting the performance equation is the only way to create a thriving business that gives you back your life instead of taking it away. Perfecting the performance equation. Don't worry, I'm gonna give you the performance equation tonight. Is the only way to create a thriving business that gives you back your life instead of taking it away. How many of you started a business with the goal of creating something better for your family? Show me a jazzy. How many of you, one of the things holding you back currently in your business is that you feel sometimes it's taking you away from your family? How many people have ever felt like they might need to take a step back? Too busy, too overwhelmed, struggling. How many people said time management over in the chat thread? About 50% of you, which means we're juggling a lot of things and we're struggling to juggle all the things. And what I want to teach you tonight is how to create success, not by juggling 32 more balls. How many of you ever I've like literally ever thought in your head, well, I don't have a choice. I have to juggle the 32 balls. I guess I just got to get better at juggling 32 balls. I don't want you to juggle 32 balls. I want you to juggle three. Okay. Now, anybody can juggle two. I'm a master of juggling two balls. I can do that like all day and night. But how many of you would just agree that, like, in theory, if you really needed to, like if creating the life of your dreams depended on it, you could learn to juggle three balls? We agree to that? 13? I don't know. If my whole life depends on it, I don't know. Maybe I could figure that out, but I'm not even certain that I could. But 3, I can handle that. So tonight, I want to give you what I'm calling the performance equation for online business. It's very, very, very simple, but I want you to remember that it's not just knowing these 3 words that's going to fix your business. It's knowing the difference between how to do it right versus how to do it wrong. Okay? It's going to look very, 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 very simple when you first see this. Just this simple. Mindset, messaging, leadership. Mindset is how well you manage yourself, which we're going to dive into tonight. Messaging is how well you communicate with others who, by the way, are struggling with this. You might not realize that. We're going to talk about that a lot tonight. Messaging is a lot less about your products and your programs and what you want to tell people, and a lot more about what's going on inside their head. And then we've got leadership, which is helping other people once they've joined to get results. Doesn't matter if you can sell everybody in the world. If you can't get them results, you'll either, 1, end up feeling like a phony, Or two, no one will stick around and you just have to keep selling more and more and more and more and more. You'll never have anything close to residual income. You'll never really be that fulfilled. But if we can get these three things down, how many of you can agree with me? If we can get these three things down, we are freaking locked and loaded. So I'd love to just hear from you on a scale of 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10, what would you currently say your current mindset is? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, I am so freaking confident. I just wake up every single day like a fire-breathing dragon ready to take on the freaking world. What's up, Heat? I love your energy. I've missed you, Heat. Okay. Now, how about messaging? When it comes to clearly communicating via your social media and via the inbox. 3, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2. I had a feeling that one was going to score a little bit lower. There's a reason for that. We're going to talk about that tonight. Saw some 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. So I would say on an average, the mindset level on tonight's call is around a 6 to 7 from the numbers that I saw. That seems, does everybody else agree with that? Pretty happy with that, if I'm being honest. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Messaging is more like a 3. does that seem about right? Now let's see what your score is on leadership, and that would be your confidence in your ability to get other people results. And for the sake of this being a business training, let's talk about, business mentoring. Okay. Awesome. So my goal tonight, I'm not going to get anybody to a 10 in a 1.5 hour training. I wish I could, man. I would charge so much money for a one-night training if I could get you to a 10. But my goal is to get you, like, let's say halfway from where you're at to 10. So if you're at a 3, let's get you to like a 6.5. Okay. If you're at a 6, let's get you to 8. Let's get you 50% of the way to 10. We know that there has to be some application to actually grow into a 10. So nobody's becoming a 10 tonight. I'm not a 10. I'm never going to be a 10. I don't think John Maxwell is a 10. He would never say that he was a 10. So let's grow. Sound good? Let's dive into, first of all, mindset. And here's what I want to talk about. For each one of these 3 things, this is very important. I want to address the most common mistakes people are getting that is keeping them from growing and moving forward, and how you can actually start to move forward in this specific area. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to rename it all. Okay. So instead of mindset, I want to talk to you about the psychology of self-coaching. Okay. Mindset is like, it's not my favorite word. I use it because I know that it's familiar to you, but it's not my favorite word. And here's why it's not my favorite word, because I think that too many times mindset is confused with how I feel right now. So if you are in one of my programs and we had a call today and spent 2 hours together today, I'm like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your mindset? You're like, I'm a 9. I am a 9 right now. I'm a 9. But is that how you wake up tomorrow morning? Or if you're just coming off of, if you're in the middle of the virtual coach summit right now and you just had like 5 days of training in a row, you're like, I'm a freaking 9, man. I'm amazing. I don't know what voice that was. That was so weird. I usually do a diva voice. I've been doing these weird bro voices lately. Please pray for me. Or maybe some of you this summer went to an event. Might have gone to something like Summit in San Antonio. I did a pre-summit event with some really amazing speakers. You come home from that. You want to hear my diva voice? Should I do my diva voice? And you're like, oh my God, I am a 10 right now. I am such a 10. I'm a 10. And the reality is, it's not that your mindset is a 10. It's that your current feelings are a 10. And so what I want to help you understand tonight is that there is a really big thing happening in your mind. I've got 2 things that I want to teach you that I think are really important. The first one is conscious versus subconscious. And I need you to understand this before I go into the next thing. Our conscious mind is what we're currently seeing, hearing, feeling. It's our 5 senses. Just 1 second, we're on top of the world. The next second, we're like, what? No, like we get one bad message from somebody and everything comes toppling down. We feel like shit. Ball game over. We suck. Can I even do this? Okay. That's the conscious. It's just ever changing. One of my favorite examples of this is the Spanish language. I'm not fluent in Spanish. I wish I was. It's the most beautiful language in the world. In the Spanish language, there is a different word for being temporary or being permanent. So for instance, in the English dictionary, we say, I'm sick. And nobody knows if you have a cold or if you have something terminal. It's the same thing, right? But in the Spanish language, there's actually a different verbiage that you would use to say whether you are like temporarily sick or permanently sick. Does that make sense? And I think in the English language, this is what gets us all messed up, is that we all just walk around saying things like, I lost it or I have it. And they're all these temporary things, but because we're not thinking of it logically, in that moment, it feels like a permanent thing. Does everybody see what I'm saying? 1 second, I feel like I am permanently confident nothing is ever going to take me down. Anyone ever said something like that before after a big event? Like, this time is going to be for real. Seriously don't know where that bro voice is coming. I really don't know what that is. But you're like, I'm going to be for real this time. But what you really mean is right now in this present moment, I feel unstoppable. Again, something bad happens in the business and it's like, oh my God, I'm the worst in the world. Do you actually believe you're the worst in the world? Or is just that what you're currently feeling? And so I need you to understand the difference, because we've got our conscious mind, which is just temporary stuff, changing all the time. We've got our subconscious mind, which is essentially our programming. This is more of what we have come to permanently believe. Now, when I say permanent, please understand it can be changed, but just it won't be changed on a whim. This is going to take more time, more energy, more effort. Does that make sense? And it is actually what I find is like 99% of mindset work is done on the conscious mind. So I can feel a little bit better right now. Go read a book. Nothing wrong with books. I've written 2 of them. John Maxwell, my mentor, has written like 99,000 of them. Love books. But are you reading a book that deals specifically with your subconscious programming that you're trying to rewrite? Or are you just reading the next book because some top leader recommended it and you thought it would be fun? Are you listening to a podcast that specifically addresses your deep-rooted beliefs? Or are you just getting like 93 business tips a day that you could never use, even if your life depended on it? Again, conscious mind. Oh my God, a new business tip. This is so much fun. 32 new ways to post on Instagram. Who the hell has time to make 32 different ways of posting on Instagram? Are you kidding me right now? But it sounds fun and it sounds exciting. So we gravitate toward it. We gravitate toward all of these things that feel good, and we completely ignore what is happening beneath the surface, which is our permanent programming that needs changed, not our conscious. If you want to change your conscious, I'm going to give you a tip, and most of you know this tip, so you don't have to pay me any extra for this tip. If you want to change your temporary state, pre-workout, boom, done, we're good, let's go. But pre-workout doesn't help when you get someone on Instagram that ghosts you. Would you agree? Pre-workout buzz is gone like that. Why is that? It's because your deep-rooted beliefs kick in. What are those deep-rooted beliefs? Well, I needed you to understand what we just talked about so I could introduce you to this thing that I talk about in my book. It's what we train our life coaches on, and I call it head versus heart. And I really needed you to understand the depths of the head before I presented it, because what I didn't want you to think is that I'm talking about just like the conscious mind. I want you to understand I'm talking about the deep-rooted subconscious mind. It is rooted in your past. Sorry, I should say it's pointing to your past. It's rooted in scarcity. And it expresses itself through doubt, fear, weakness, judgment, and shame. I call this our caveman DNA, because its only purpose in life is to keep us safe so we don't get eaten by saber-toothed tigers. But there's not very many saber-toothed tigers roaming around the streets of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I live, and probably not where you live either. However, my brain is programmed and wired to keep me safe in a caveman age. And if I don't understand that and I don't know how to work with it, it will constantly convince me that death is right around the corner and I need to run for my life. That's a real bad state to live in when you got goals. Real bad. So what I teach is this thing called the heart, which is pointing to the future. It's rooted in abundance and it expresses itself through love, faith, strength, purpose, and potential. Let's go back to what you guys said was holding you back in your, when I said, why is business so hard? And I saw a pretty clear two favorites, right? 50% was something around limiting beliefs. 50% was around something around time management. Now, looking at this graph, this picture, would you say those things were rooted in your head voice or your heart voice? I'd love to see the chat. Head or heart? Head. 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 Lots of answers for head. No one seems to think that their limiting beliefs come from their heart. So fascinating how smart all of you are. You're all so smart. You get it already. Where do you think, if you're going to create a powerful business, become a powerful leader, make a difference, and change the world, where do you think you're going to have to learn to live from, the head or the heart? You guys are just proving to be so smart. We have such smart entrepreneurs on here tonight. Everyone, I think, agrees, the heart. So why would you spend 90% of your time trying so hard to just fix your mindset? What if instead of putting all of our focus and attention on fixing our mindset, we put more time and focus and energy into living from the heart? This is what I learned from life coaching, that with the right work, we can eventually reprogram our subconscious mind to actually live in alignment with the heart. Now, it takes some work. This is why no one can become a 10 tonight, because no one's going to reprogram their subconscious mind tonight. Some of you aren't even going to figure out exactly how to align with the heart, but I'm at least going to open you to the idea of understanding there are two voices living on the inside of you. One of them is your programming. It is the voice of possibly parents, possibly bad relationships, possibly that one kid in 4th grade that told me I was stupid for wearing green jeans. I'll never forget that. These voices from the outside shaped our subconscious mind and what is programmed to see the world. This is our lens we see the world through. But it's not the real you. Has anyone ever felt fake for like trying to be on social media? Like, I feel so fake. I'm not even successful. What am I doing taking pictures of myself and giving people advice? You feel fake because your head is trying to say, whoa, wait, hey, what's going on here? I don't like this. This doesn't feel very safe. And your head uses voices to try to trick you like, oh, this isn't authentic. What is really happening is when you step into your purpose and into your power, you are living, I believe, in alignment with your true self. And everything that's going on in your head that's trying to keep you from taking that step forward is your fake self. I like to call it our true identity. Why is my message? True identity versus our adopted entity. So every single time, identity. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I spelled some weird stuff over the chat. Every single time you feel fake, is that doubt, fear, judgment, shame, or is that purpose, potential, love, and strength? The very fact that you feel fake says it's your head voice. Would you agree with that? I need you to understand the difference between the head and the heart, because it will help you to finally live your life in alignment, to constantly. Now, As a life coach, I'd love to spend 3 to 6 months with you working on that. I'm not selling a package for that tonight. None of you want to hear the prices on that package. Okay. I have some programs where we can work on things like that. Oh, don't call me Mr. Green Jeans. That's so mean. That's such a trigger. It's okay. I've moved on. It's fine. But what I want you to just, if you get nothing else from tonight, is start questioning every thought that comes through your brain, every feeling that you have. Is this head or is this heart? And if it's head, I'm not pretending that it's just going to magically go away, but I do believe that the beginning of stopping the trigger, the beginning of stopping the cycle is becoming aware and identifying it for what it is. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that tomorrow someone ghosting on Instagram is going to feel good. Okay. It still doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't mean that just like this, you magically become a magical unicorn. But what it does is it helps you to identify what it is and what it isn't so that you can move past it. Does that make sense? It's one of the reasons in like both my Push Elite program and our life coach certification, everyone literally practices on each other every single week, just coaching each other over and over and over and over to work through that stuff. In programs like the Push Elite, we have Q&A every single week. And I do that very much on purpose because I know even though I'm teaching them a lot on leadership and sales and marketing, they're still dealing with some of this. And if we don't get this out of the way, no amount of sales training is going to matter. If you can't take action, which by the way, we got Ashley Drew, who I was going to mention later, who since she learned the way I use questions in the DMs, she's made a sale every single day of the last week just following the questions that I taught her. But do you know why it's worked so well for her? Because she didn't 3 today, she said. Geez. I think she made 2 on our call today. I'm like, it's okay. You don't need to listen. Just keep selling. It's fine. Just keep doing that. The reason it worked so well for her is because she didn't get in her head about whether or not it would or wouldn't work, whether it was right or wrong or weird or blah, 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 blah. She was able to just go take action. And so when you can get really good at self-coaching, okay, it doesn't mean you're invincible, but what it does mean is you're able to finally take the action of some of the other things you're learning. Does that make sense? So no more mindset work. Of course, I want you to keep reading books, listening to podcasts, but I want you to reframe the purpose. The purpose is not to try to feel a little bit better today. The purpose is to focus in on the things you specifically need to reprogram, the things in your head that are holding you back. Does that make sense? All right. Now, our next one, we're going to talk about leadership. Okay. And we're actually going to skip messaging and come back to it in a little bit because I have my head master coach. Where is he at? Mark, I'm trying to, there he is. There he is. And we're going to bring on Mark. Mark is the head master coach in my life coach certification. He helps out with every group that I run. He is what I call a true coach. And what that means is I am a certified life coach who is literally loves talking about sales and marketing. And I could speak all day and night because that's what I just drink pre-workout and talk all the time. That's what I do. Mark loves to teach and facilitate. He is more of like our community person that helps everybody else get involved. I'm the Michael Jordan because I'm a ball hog. He's the Scottie Pippen. He likes to get everybody else involved, and he's so freaking good at it. He's going to teach you guys tonight some stuff about leadership that's going to freaking blow your mind. So I want you guys to give some like jazzy welcome to Mark Hildebrand as he comes to teach for a little bit.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for that, Josh. What's up, man? What's up?
Thanks for being here.
Of course, dude. I'm super pumped up. By the way, guys, nobody is sleeping tonight. I'm just saying, like when you get off this call, like even when I'm a co-host, I get fired up from Josh. Like I know I ain't sleeping for 3 weeks, but it's going to be worth it. All right. It's going to be worth it because he's taking you through 1/3 of the equation and he lets me speak about my favoriteest part in the whole wide world. Now, how many of you guys, after you answer that, like on a scale of 1 to 10 around mindset, how many you want to go back and change that answer now? You're like, maybe I'll move it down or maybe I'll move it up a little bit, right? And it's really the power of awareness, okay? Because a lot of things are happening. There's a lot of moving pieces. Would you rather know what the moving pieces are? Or would you be like, oh man, I just want to close my eyes and I want to just hope and pray, right? And that's what we really want to do today is we want to bring awareness to some things, right? Now, how many of you guys is the first time you've ever heard head versus heart? How many of you guys? Okay, it looks like we have a couple people who are new and a couple people who are in our life coach certification or in some of our calls where we talk about it a lot, right? And it's this internal battle that we have going on in our brain, right? And remember that we have 95 to 97% of our thoughts are automatic and they tend to go down the head path really, really quickly. But I want you to think about this for a second, all right? Because I have a YouTube channel, it's called Modern Leadership, and we talk about we see things differently. And what I mean by that is as a leader, you need to see things through your leadership lens. How all the stuff applies to you, yes, I want you to be doing that and be thinking about that. But everything that I'm teaching and training, everything that Josh is talking about is like, oh, this is happening to my team, to my customers, to people on Instagram, to my family, because it is. Everybody has what we call the push method going on. It's our universal leadership tool, but they have this battle of head versus heart. And if you're getting stuck in a certain area, whatever it is, it's like your trigger, right? Based off of your past, based off of your emotional experiences, the things you've done over and over again. If you feel like you're getting stuck in that area, there's other people out there who are also going to be getting stuck, but they might be getting stuck in different areas than you. Maybe they've had past experiences or situations where they're actually feeling like they're stuck. And that kind of like brings me into the perfect time for me to explain to you like really how I messed it up is how I want to talk. I always love talking about like how I messed it up. Anybody out there get paid because you messed it up at first and you actually succeeded through it and you learned and you grow and as a part of it, now people come to you because of it. I always like to remind people of that because maybe that thing that you're struggling with right now is actually going to be your superpower because you went through it. How many of you guys would love to like get coached from somebody who's never done that thing before? Versus they've actually physically gone through something you have and you're like, you have the answers to me for me. And so that's why I want to, number one, start reframing these things, but also show you like where my like plateau was. And this is the difference between what's called mentoring and true coaching. Now, Josh has been talking a lot about true coaching. He hasn't named it, but he talked about like this head versus heart, this internal battle that we have going on. We all have it as humans, right? Our brain wants to keep us safe, so it's going to throw whatever it can to get us off track, to prevent us from doing those things, to convince us to do something else, to get us to feel a different way, whether it's buffering, eating certain foods, whatever it is, our brain will really throw us off path. But there's also this distinction between mentoring and true coaching that I want to go into today, because it really is what capped my and my wife Teresa's potential. So quick story about us. I, police sergeant from LAPD, 20 years. She worked at UCLA Medical Center. We were really overweight, especially me. I ended up losing 100 pounds. She lost about 35 pounds. And when you lose that amount of weight, guess what? People come out of the woodwork and they go, how can you help me do this, right? And so I was a coach and I started to help people and I started to build up and I had a pretty good team. And it was getting to the point where I was like, I hit this, for me, it was $40,000 a year. And I was like, I was trying to retire Teresa and then eventually was going to retire myself. But here's the thing. I was a coach for just under 7 years. But the truth is that first year I really took off. And then 6 years after that, it was kind of like I was just reliving the same year, like time and time again. I was working harder. I was putting in more effort. I was going to every single event. I was listening to everything that they were trying to teach me. How many of you guys ever had that where you get to this point where you're like, I need to take it to the next level? And your brain immediately goes, well, then I have to work more. I have to do 10 times as much. I have to reach out to 10 times as many people. And instead of like thinking about maybe I can think about it a little differently, which is what we're talking about here today, you throw more work and more energy. And I love this. I know why people say this and they say, just be here a year from now. And I'm like, I've done that 6 years. And they're like, just be consistent. Have you heard that? I'm like, I am Mr. Consistent. You tell me what I need to do to succeed, and I will do it every single day, multiple times a day. And it wasn't working. And what I found is like I had capped my potential at that specific time. And what we're going to talk about today is the reason why, or what I'm going to talk about is the reason why I capped this potential. Because what happened is when I changed this, when I understood what true coaching was and what mentoring was and where each one had to play, it finally allowed me to use this skill of true coaching to actually get to the root of people's problems to help them get past what was actually keeping them stuck. Here's the thing. When you're talking about mentoring, Mentoring is basically, and we'll go over in a little bit more detail, but it's you using, whether it's your past or the things that you've personally done to be able to achieve the results that you have. Life coaching is asking people questions, really getting in there to help them uncover what is actually keeping them stuck. We talked before about head versus heart, right? We all have this internal battle, but it's different for everyone else. But what happens when we get trapped in the head voice, but yet somebody keeps telling us, oh, you've got to do this. You've just got to read more personal development. You just got to listen to, you just got to be here a year from now. You just got to, and they keep what's called coaching the action line. No amount of action is going to get them to take action because they're stuck in their head. And that's when this opportunity, actually, as a matter of fact, 2 years before that is when this opportunity of true coaching, where a lot of people call it life coaching, but true coaching like had been presented to me a couple times. But guys, the head voice is very tricky. And it was like, Mark, I don't think you should do that. Like you're working full time. You're still doing this coaching thing. You got to still find all this time to give your team and all this stuff. And I had capped that potential, but I was like, I just got to push a little bit harder. I'm almost there. Now, when I leaned into true coaching in the first year, when I understood and developed my life coaching, I actually 4X'd my business. The year after that, I doubled it again. Now, I've since been able to retire my wife this year and become a full-time life coach because I understood what true coaching really meant and what it was and what was holding me back from my potential. Now, I want to share with you like some of the different ideas behind true coaching so that you understand what's going on and how you can, as a leader, actually help people when you understand how to ask really great questions. Like Josh said in the inbox, it happens with sales, but it also happens with your family. It also happens when it comes to your team. It also happens with getting people to take action. And guess what? It also happens with asking yourself great questions. And the reason why is because belief is ultimately what drives behavior. I still remember when Josh taught this to me first, like 6 years ago. He's like, what you believe will fundamentally get you to take action or not take action. It's not the amount of information that you need. It's not advice or direction. It's your personal BS or belief system that is actually preventing you from taking those actions. Guys, how many of you guys could have just Googled leadership today? Did you do that? Did it work? Like, we have so much information. So the truth is, it's not the information. It's that our fundamental belief system is preventing us from doing the things that we need to do. And when you understand that and the difference between mentoring and coaching, you can get to the root of people's problems. And when you get to the root of people's problems, it's such an important piece because when you do that, you actually stop coaching the action line and instead create deep connections with them that they will follow you anywhere. Here's the thing. If somebody's struggling with something, and this was what I was guilty of, and I was like, you know what, you just got to read this book. Like, just do this, do this, do this. And they wouldn't do it. And then I would get angry or resentful and frustrated. And I had no idea really why they weren't doing that. And all I did was just telling them, hey, just take these different steps. And they never took it. It would start to make me get angry and frustrated. But when I knew how to ask great questions and I could get to the root of what it is that they were kind of like struggling with, I was no longer bypassing and just telling them to feel different or just telling them to do it, just push through it, right? Like that's some of the worst advice ever. Like just push through it. Like how about finding your heart voice and doing it with the level of energy and passion that is actually going to make you succeed? There's a difference between the energy that you have when you're doing something because you're like just checking the box, would you agree? Versus I'm about to change somebody's life right now. I'm going to, not only that, like this is going to be a game changer for their family too. And when you lean into that, the box doesn't look like a box so much anymore. It looks like somebody else on social media that has a family just like yours. And the energy that comes through, even if it's a message, is 100% different. Now, when we talk about mentoring, what I mean by mentoring is you're using your own personal experiences and what you've learned along the way to help others. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying there's a time and a place to do that. Now, what it requires is in order for you to be able to mentor, you have to have success in that specific area, right? Because you're giving somebody steps and tools. If you're giving somebody steps and tools and you're mentoring and you've never done it before, that's kind of like a sticky ground, right? Josh didn't really talk about this, but back when he was building up his life coaching business, like he was literally coaching people who were like $1 million earners way on the top of their game that you would seem that they would be more successful. Well, how did he do it? Well, because he understood the value of asking powerful questions rather than just leaning on the things that he had personally known. Now, there's this other part of the equation, which is when you use mentoring, it also assumes that they can take the same actions as you and get the same results. Josh hit me with a hard one on this one. He said, it is arrogant and ignorant to believe that someone can take the same actions that you've taken and get the same results that you did. We all have different strengths, different weaknesses, different people that we're attracting. We are just all different. You can't tell me that, hey, these are the 4 different things that I did to be successful, and then I do those 4 and expect me to have success. We all have different strengths, different things that we can lean into. And really just telling people what those steps are is just mentoring. Now, when it comes to true coaching is using questions to help uncover what is really holding people back. You get to the root of the problem. You find out that maybe they sent a message to somebody, right? And the person didn't send a message back. And their thought is like, oh man, I must be a terrible leader, right? Maybe their belief system is, I'm not good at leading people. See, I knew I was never going to be successful. And then as we go through that entire experience, it just creates this whole entire head voice, which we call our old story, that actually does manifest into you not being the leader that you want to show up. But instead, what if you leaned into your heart? One of the questions I always love to ask, even in our life coach certification, is like, if Josh was struggling with this thing, what would he think? If Josh sent a message to one of you guys and you didn't respond, by the way, I was one of those people back in the day when Josh sent a message to me, but what would Josh say? Would he say, my business sucks, like I suck, I'm a terrible leader, this is never going to work? Or would he be like, okay, that's just not my person? I'm probably kind of glad that person didn't respond, because I don't want to have negative energy in my group, right? And it's because when we think about other people, it's easy to lean into the heart. But when we think about ourselves, we all have this filter through our head, and it's very hard to get out of our head. Now, when it comes to true coaching, you also can help people identify what their purpose and potential is, and especially if they've been hiding from it, all right? It's very easy to lean into your head and forget about the impact you're making in the world. Forget about why you signed up for this business. What kind of impact has this made for you and for your family? And why do you want to pass that on to others? What has this made possible for you that somebody out there doesn't even know exists? They have no hope of getting past what you have been able to successfully navigate. And they don't even know it. They're waiting for you to come across their newsfeed today and to make that post when you don't feel like it, to do the story, to do the reel, to do whatever, because they need to have that level of hope. That's what true coaching can get you to do, right? And it does a freaking incredible thing about keeping you motivated. When you tap into your heart voice, even what we just talked about, like right now, the purpose for you doing this, why you're here, like on a Wednesday night, like leaning into this training because you know the power, not only for this, for your family, but also for the world out there. It's an entirely different energy than just checking the box, right? Now, I want you to take a screenshot of this, all right? And I'm going to pass it back to Josh after this, but I'm literally going to teach you some of the rules of true coaching, okay? We don't have an opportunity to actually practice this. This is literally what we do inside of our life coach certification for 3 months. We have some of you guys on, dude. Super. I'm actually glad to see you guys here too. But these are really universal tools that you have to remember when you are true coaching, right? So somebody's struggling with something. You give them steps, you give them actions, and they come back and they haven't done that. It's no longer time to mentor, guys. It's time to lean into true coaching. And how many of you guys have had that, where you've given them all the steps and you've given them all the strategies and they're not taking action? Well, that's when true coaching really comes in, right? Now, when you're true coaching, number one is you're letting the person tell their story, meaning you're not injecting. You're not like, oh, you know what? That happened to me too. Or you're like, you know what? These are the 3 things you need to do. No, that's not true coaching. True coaching is you letting the person tell their story. Many times, just letting them tell their story. Have you guys ever had this where somebody's just listening to and they say it out loud, or you say it out loud and you're like, it made total sense in my brain, but it doesn't make sense out loud. I don't even know why I was even like worried about that. Just literally having that conversation can sometimes change the game. The second rule is being genuinely curious and caring, meaning you're curious in terms of if they tell you something happened or didn't happen, you're legitimately curious about why. Not because you're guiding them in a direction, right? We don't ask people a question to get them to go down this path that we want them to go. We're asking them because we're genuinely curious and we care about them and we want to find out why it is they're stuck or why they're doing or not doing something. Number 3 is set your expert role aside. And this is the hardest thing ever, okay? I want you to take your mentoring hat off and I want you to put your life coaching hat on, or your true coaching hat on, right? What I mean is, if somebody comes to me and they're talking about health and fitness, and they're talking about struggling with it, you know how easy it is to talk about like my 100-pound weight loss journey and the workouts and stuff that I did? Question: if I started out with P90X and Insanity and Shakeology, and I went through that whole entire thing, what would happen if somebody came up to me and they were like 400 pounds, and I said, guys, this is what you got to do. Okay, you need to grab P90X, you need to drink Results of Recovery, which was back in the day, right? You got to do this and this and this. Like, would you think that would be the best way to lead? Or how about if you just got curious and caring and you started asking questions? Well, what are some things you liked? What are some things you don't like about it? What are some things that you feel like you're struggling with? Like, if we were able to solve this in advance, what would be some things that we could set up so that you wouldn't even have to struggle with that anymore? And really asking those questions, can you see the power of like how we're able to find the answers? And let me tell you guys, a lot of the times the answers are what we do, because what we do is pretty incredible, right? But sometimes they're not. But when you're leaning in and you're getting curious and caring and you set your expert role aside, it allows them the opportunity to find it rather than you point it out to them. If you guys have kids, this is so powerful too. Instead of telling them what to do, asking them questions to get them to identify what to do, it literally gets them to buy in, and they will do it because now it's their idea and it's not yours. Fourth one is allow for silence. I love silence so much, even though people make it like they feel so awkward. Have you guys ever had that where you ask a question and nobody said anything and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm just going to do something. I know Josh, he like taps the desk and stuff. It can be a little awkward, but for me, as a life coach, I understand that what silence means is I asked a great question and they need to go into their subconscious mind to find it. Remember, the problem isn't in their conscious mind. It's in our subconscious mind. And we can ask a question and they got to go, I've never been asked that before. Let me think about that. They're now going in there to find something that allows me to get to the root of the problem. So allow for silence. You ask a question, be okay with just giving some silence. Last one is, or not, the second to last one is listen to learn, not to respond. So remember, we're listening to learn, not to wait until the end of the sentence so that we can ask our next question. Some of our life coaches even get a little bit caught up here, and they're in the middle of having a conversation with somebody and they're like, what's my next question? And I'm like, well, you have to be all into what they're telling you. Wait until they're done telling you and say, what would be my next general question if I wanted to ask them? Like, here's the thing, guys, if you were just like having a conversation with like your girlfriend or something, like you wouldn't be saying, oh, what's the next question I should ask? You would be all in. And then once you got done, you'd be like, well, what happened? Like, what happened with this, right? And that's what the level of true coaching is, because you're being there to learn, not to just respond. And the last one is probe to learn more. Watch for excitement. Now, Josh will say this, and I do it all the time too on my one-on-one calls, is like when I ask a great question, when I'm like, hey, if I could remove all the pain, all the struggle, all the obstacles, all of the sacrifice, and just reach out and give you a goal, like I could just hand it to you. What would you want to achieve in the next 6 months? And you're going to see somebody, they're going to light up, and they're going to picture it in their brain. They're going to vision it. They're going to get all excited. And then you know what happens? Their head voice kicks in and they go like this. Well, I think like $100 a week, that'd be great. And you're like, wait. Hold on a second. What was that thing you first thought of, right? What was that thing that got you super excited? I want to go there because I really want to pull out what Josh calls push goals, like goals that scare the crap out of you, but it's really worth going for. I want to lean into it, but I also want to find out what's the voice that was telling you that it's not possible. And so I will literally watch for both levels of excitement. Number one is when they get really excited, I'm like, that's a heart voice. Let's tap into that. But also, I don't want to disregard the head voice, because here is the thing, guys. If you have, let's say you're planting a garden, right? And the garden is full of weeds, okay? Head voices. Would throwing more seed, the heart voices, on top of those solve the problem? No, the weeds would literally soak up all of the water, everything, and the seeds would die. You have to first uplift the roots of the weeds in order to even give the seeds an opportunity and chance to grow. That's what true coaching is. You can get to the actual root of the problem. You can lift up the weeds for other people, and you can help them start planting seeds, which is what we do inside of our heart voice. And this is really powerful for other people. But once again, I want you to now flip it back to yourself. What do you think it would be like if you were able to ask yourself powerful enough questions, or get coached for some of the things that maybe are outside of your sphere of influence right now? Because in reality, you have all the behind the scenes stuff, and there's some blind spots that we all have that are head voice. When you can identify that and you can uplift that, then you can plant a new seed, and that's when the heart really takes off. And that's what happened for me. Not only did it like help me succeed in my business and be able to retire, but it also helped me become a better father and a better husband, a better police sergeant, a better friend, because now I understand when somebody comes up against something, when my kids are frustrated, when people are doing the things that I'm like, I've given you these steps. I now don't make it mean something about me, and I also don't make it mean something about them. I get curious and I get to the root of what's actually holding them back. And I can't tell you, when you get to the root of people's problems, they will follow you anywhere. They'll be like, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you're selling, but whatever it is you're doing next, please let me know, because I want to be a part of that. Not only for the energy, but because I know that you're here to really help me. And that, my friends, is what changed the game for me. The difference between mentoring and true coaching. All right, Josh.
That was some good stuff. Did you guys love that? Did that help anybody? Now, how many of you are ready to learn how all of this applies to sales and marketing? This is like my favorite thing in the world. I saved it for last. And then we're also going to do a giveaway when I'm all done. But man, I want to talk about this sales and marketing. I have one request. We've got on Zoom, at least, we've got several people on YouTube. On Zoom, we've got like 6 pages of people. And I think pages like 2.5 through 6 is all gray squares. And I just want to say that that's okay if you need to have a gray square because someone in the background is peeing or bathing, totally fine. We appreciate your gray square. But if you're like smashing food into your face or like, it's totally fine. Like, go ahead and we'd love to see your video. We would love, if possible. If not, it's okay. No judgment, no shame. But if you're able to turn on your video, we would love to see your face. Okay. So are you guys ready to dive into sales and marketing? Yes? No? How many of you would love it if sales and marketing was the easiest part of your business? Show me some jazzies. Well, then I'm really excited to teach you tonight how to make that possible. And here's why sales and marketing is so easy. Like it's literally, it's like, to me, I'm like, that's the easiest part of the whole business. And here's why, because as a life coach, I spent hour upon hour upon hour after hour doing what Mark was just teaching you guys. Asking questions, listening, asking questions, listening, asking questions, listening. Do you know what happens when you spend enough time listening to your most ideal clients, whether they are on your team or whether they're customers or whether they're people who haven't even signed up yet? Do you know what happens? Do you think you learn pretty fast when you're constantly listening to what is going on in their head? So the number one mistake we make as sales people, marketers, whatever, even just communicators in any version of sales is just communication. That's all it is. Okay. And the biggest mistake we make is we think it's our job to convince them. I'm going to give you a note over here, to convince them that our product or program or opportunity or whatever is the right / best / whatever. I want you to pay attention to the word convince. What is it I could say that would just convince them that this is the right thing? What did Mark just teach you about head and heart? What is everyone you're talking to? Do you think most of them are in head space or heart space? Just curious. Head space. So what's funny to me is that we kind of tend to forget that, and we assume that everyone else is in a heart space the way we are because we just took our pre-workout and did 32 affirmations and got ourselves feeling all good to make this post or to send this message. And we're like, do you want to take ownership of your life? Be awesome, be amazing, kick ass, grad, awesome, join the community, join the crew, join the club, join the blah, blah, blah. I was just like, and everyone else is over here in their head voice going, I think I suck. I don't even know if I'm worthy of that. I don't have the time for that. I've tried 1,000 times and failed. And we spend all of our time trying to convince people of a thing their brain isn't even ready to accept. And so to me, sales and marketing became an extension of just life coaching. And I started asking myself, when I get on a call with someone and I ask, what's your biggest goal? And they tell me what their biggest goal is. And I said, what's the thing holding you back from that? The thing that they're about to say, that head voice is my best marketing material, not all of the things about my product. So I want to show you this thing. I'll take you back to my notes here for a second. When we're talking sales and messaging, I want you to think of the psychology of communication and sales. And psychology of communication just means knowing the brain well enough to know how someone will respond when I say something. And if I can get really, really, really good at knowing how people naturally respond to things that are being said, sales and marketing becomes very easy. And I want to show you this. This is my favorite graphic in the world, by the way. I call it building a belief bridge. And this is how I took psychology and life coaching process, churned it into messaging. Okay. This is you over here on this side of the bridge. And I want you to pretend that your ideal client is on a different mountaintop. I want you to pretend this is a broken bridge. You have gone through a transformation. And in that transformation, you climbed a new mountain. And now here you are standing on this new mountain, and you're so excited. And you're like, this is my process. This is how I got here. And this person is over here, and all they have is a pain. That's it. They have a pain. And they have something they call that pain that you kind of forgot the terminology for, because what happens when we climb a mountain and go through a transformation? We learn new terminology, and usually we adopt some new values. If you're a health and fitness coach, you might used to say, oh my God, I want to lose weight so bad. Now you say the most important thing in life is health. In fact, some of you stopped using words like weight loss and started using words like wellness, which is great. That's wonderful. Except you got to remember, this person over here does not care about your values or your terminology. They only care about their pain. That's it. Nobody is paying you money for what you value. They are only paying you money for what they value. Does that make sense? If you go to a car dealership, you don't care. I want you to imagine you walk into, let's say, Ford, and the salesman is this country dude, and he loves pickups. Just loves pickups. Nothing wrong with pickups, by the way. I drive a big ass Bronco on 37-inch tires. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But for humor's sake, okay, go with me down this country boy's road, and he's got his cowboy boots on, and he's got his big old truck, and he's like, now listen here, ma'am. What you need is a F-250 pickup truck, dually turbo diesel. I'm now making up words. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Lifted on a 4-inch, blah 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 blah. And you're like, actually, what I'm looking for is something. I've got 4 kids. I've got groceries. I need a lot of seats for a lot of asses and some cargo room because we go to Target a lot. He's like, but what's really important is whether or not this can get down that dirt road. You're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Like, I just need to fit all my. I'm sure you can all hear how stupid this sounds, right? Can I give you an example that I promise? Can I just lead by saying, I promise I love you so much. And I don't mean this to judge or shame you. I just want you to, I want you to hear what I see on the internet sometimes. Okay. Lady comes to you, says, I really, really, really need to lose weight. This is just a weight loss example. I know we have people from other industries, but sometimes weight loss is just like the easiest thing for everybody to understand. I just like really need to lose weight, or I just really need to make more money. And you're like, yeah, I get it. And that's why you need 150 superfoods. You need to have a meal prep kit, and you need to have containers, and you need to have, I don't know if I can handle all that. I'm actually like pretty overwhelmed right now. Yeah, I get it. I was overwhelmed too until I got the containers, and now I'm good. I'm great. I'm awesome. This is why you need it. And you're like, how come people keep ghosting me in the DMs? Well, because nobody wants your F-250 turbo diesel, okay? They need more seats, more cargo space. But we keep looking at the whole equation through our eyes and our values instead of taking time to listen to what they want, what they need, what they care about. So number one, if you want to kill it in the messaging, shut up about your stuff and ask yourself what is coming out of their mouths. How many of you like really struggle with objections? Show me, Jazzy. Objections are literally my favorite thing in the world because it teaches me the thing that's standing between them and what they want. An objection is just a fancy sales lingo word for a limiting belief. And as a life coach, that's what I'm trained to do, is help people overcome limiting beliefs. So when you have an objection about joining my program, I'm so excited. Because if you don't give me the objection, I don't know what's standing between you and joining my program. The objection I see as my opportunity to help you move that thing out of the way and then be able to see clearly that there is a path for you to get what you want and for you to now want to work with me so freaking bad because I just helped you overcome the limiting belief you've had for 20 years. Does that make sense? So in the inbox, and I taught on this last week in the Push Elite, that's what Ashley's been using as my whole questions. I'm going to teach you a couple things, but I'm going to have something at the end that I'll share with you where everybody can get access to the way I use questions in scripts to get everybody to tell me exactly what they want, exactly what they need, exactly what's holding them back so that I can then ask more questions to dig deeper and then use everything they just told me to sell them. So instead of trying to convince you that you need the F-250 turbo diesel, what I should instead say is, you need a new car? Okay, great. Why do you need a new car? Well, I mean, honestly, this one's run down. I'm sick and tired of having an old car because we end up spending more money fixing it than we would. Ooh, I'm writing that down. Old car means you spend more money fixing it. So if money comes up later, I'm going to remind you of that. When you're like, oh, I don't know if I can afford $500 a month, I'm going to be like, totally get it. You know, the economy is crazy. Whoo, the world's bananas right now. But if you don't spend the $500, how much more do you think you're going to have to spend fixing the old car? Oh, shit, I forgot. You're right. I spend lots of, I almost, see what I'm saying? I need this because I need to, what else? Tell me more. Tell me more about your life. I'd love to hear about it. You know, what's going on? You got kids, you got activity. Oh, I have kids. We go to 37 activities, 37 activities. This girl uses a lot of gas, So a good selling point is going to be miles per gallon. Awesome. Nope. Do you see how everything they tell me gives me more fuel for how to present the offer later? And what most of you do is you have it so set in your brain, all of the things the program comes with, you think the power of the conversation is to show them how many things you have. Let me tell you how that can work against you really, really fast. Someone says, I am so overwhelmed right now. And you say, cool. Good news is I have 1,000 workouts just waiting for you. 1,000. Tell someone that's already overwhelmed that there's 1,000 workouts to choose from. Do you know how quickly that person is running away? Some of you didn't even get it. Some of you, I literally said it. I literally set that up for you, freaking alley-oop, and you still didn't even understand. If someone is overwhelmed, the last thing they want is 1,000 workouts. What they want to hear is I have a customized workout plan specifically for you, the exact season that you're in, whether you're a newbie or a veteran with big time crazy goals because you're a competitive athlete, wherever you're at, I got you. That's what someone wants to hear. The mistake we make in sales and marketing is we try to make it sound like a one size fits all. You ever seen an article of clothing that said one size fits all and felt real comfortable about buying? No. Probably made that for a tiny person trying to squeeze it on me and I'm going to look like an idiot. right? I need you to remember that all of us think our problems are worse than anyone else's. Did you know that? How come 50% of the people on the call said they struggle with time management? Is it because 50% of the people have less time than everyone else, or is it because 50% of the people, like, that's the thing you struggle with, so it's a big deal to you? Now, this is very important. When someone is struggling with something, whether it's real or not, it's real to them. And if you try to talk them out of it, not happening. No amount of energy, charisma, or Instagram lives or reels going viral will talk someone out of their truth. What I've been teaching in the Push Elite, which is literally what we teach our life coaches to do, is to lean in, give them permission to feel that way, and then ask a question to go deeper so that we can figure out what's underneath that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that life is so crazy right now. I mean, yeah, back to school. Whew, bananas, am I right? Can you tell me more about that? Well, I've got 3 kids, plus one here, plus one there, plus all of these things going on, blah, 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 blah. Man, that sounds crazy. So can I ask you something? You know, why is it even important to you to lose weight? Like, why are we even talking about that? Well, because I want to set example for my kids. Note taken. Heartstrings are the children. I will be bringing that one back up later when they tell me they can't afford it or don't have time. Taking all the notes. Can you tell me this? This is one of my favorite questions to ask. If we could finally fix that, what could your life look like a year from now? I could have so much energy. I could have so much passion. I could have so much confidence. That sounds amazing. I want that for you so bad. So what is my favorite thing? What would that be worth to you? Oh my God, that would be worth the world. Well, that's such good news because I'm not even asking you for the whole world. My program's only a couple $100. So this would be a really, really easy exchange here. Do you see how if I make it about them, it's very, very, very simple to make them feel seen, make them feel heard, make them feel understood, and then present the solution as the thing that fixes their problem, not me trying to shove a solution down their throat that they don't even know what's going on. Does that make sense to everybody? I need you to get really, really good about asking more questions, about listening so that you can get to know their values instead of trying to convince them of your values. Does that make sense? And anytime you find out what they care about, awesome. That's going to be when it gets time to finally talk about my product, which we eventually have to do, right? We can't sell them air. We eventually talk about their product. But when we do, all of the things that we say are customized to the specifics they just gave me. Did you know I could sell, if I wanted to or needed to, I could sell a Ford Explorer 95 different ways. If they cared about luxury, I would just make sure and show them the one that has the higher leather interior and the big screen. If they told me they care about comfort, I would take them on a road and show them how much room there is. If they told me the thing I care about is miles per gallon, cool. I'll show them how it gets better miles per gallon than the F-250. Like, it doesn't matter what you say. I can show you something to help you see why this car fits that need. But if I try to sell it based on everyone's needs, I don't even know what you're talking about right now because I only care about the 1 or 2 things. Most people care about 1 or 2 things. And what's really magical, here's where you can just crush it on social media. If you listen enough over and over and over, do you know what you'll find? You'll find usually that your ideal client has the same 1 or 2 things over and over and over and over and over. And then you build all of your content around those 1 or 2 things. If the only thing my audience cares about is the nutrition side, Cool. I don't need to talk about anything else. Let's talk about nutrition all day and night. How I save you money on groceries. By the way, that's the gangbusters when you can like start putting stuff like that together, when it's like the nutrition that saves you money. Like, oh, it costs too much. Totally get it. Life's expensive right now. The economy's crazy. I don't even know what's happening. So I'm just curious. What if my meal plans save you $100 a week? Would that be helpful? Yeah, that would be helpful. Well, awesome. Because here's what's really cool. It's actually save my average customer $100 a week in groceries. That's $400 a month. What could you do with an extra $400 a month? You start to freeze people up when you start doing powerful stuff. They're like, $400, I don't know. I mean, I guess we could probably afford this and that and this and that. Cool. So did you want to go ahead and join my program so you can afford all that extra stuff for your family? How do you even say no to that? If we get good, guys, it becomes so easy, but you've got to be a better listener. And you got to do this thing I call global listening, which is when one person is telling me their problem, my goal is to solve the problem, but I'm also like in the back of my head collecting data as to how many times I've heard people with this exact problem. And the problems that I hear over and over and over and over and over become all of my emails, become all of my webinars, become all of my social media posts, become all of my podcasts, become the only thing I talk about. Does that make sense? Why do you think we're talking about mindset and leadership and marketing tonight? Do you think that was for me? Or do you think that was for you? Do you think I sat around going, what do I think is the 3 most important things in life? If I did, we would have talked about love and harmony and family. That would have been the call tonight, right? But the call was for you, not for me. And when I listen to you over and over and over and over, oh, my mindset sucks. Oh my God, my mind, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. At some point, if you're in business, someone convinced you that your mindset sucks. You need to fix it, you need to fix it, you need to fix it, you need to fix it. If enough people tell you need to fix it, eventually you get pretty convinced that it's broken, right? My job was to meet you where you're at tonight and allow you to be okay with the fact that you think your mindset's broken. I don't actually think your mindset's broken. I think you have a heart that is perfect and whole and that you were born pure gold. But you do have the subconscious mind that gets in the way of this thing. Do you guys agree with that? So everything I did tonight was for you, not for me. It's for you. Does that make sense? So here's my 3 questions that I kind of want to end off before we jump into giveaways. Would you rather hustle your face off or do the right things? Keep guessing or know exactly how to do those things? Be the Flatiron guy, which we should probably extend some grace to tonight because he's working some long hours today, or learn how to be American Eagle. Which one would you rather do? I put together something kind of special tonight. I wanted to tell you kind of what I've been working on behind the scenes. I've mentioned the Push Elite several times tonight. It's a program that I run for leaders. They do have to be diamond or above. Some of you are here because your like upline is a part of that program. We teach on leadership, life coaching, sales, marketing, we have accountability. We teach on the personal coaching, but I also offer and provide personal coaching. Something we're working on is this something called the Push Leader, which is for everyone. Okay. It's going to take all of the same content, all of the same accountability, all of the same coaching as the Push Elite, but everyone is going to be welcome. Any rank, any industry, whatever that is. It is essentially going to be a performance group for all entrepreneurs that want to learn more about the things that I'm talking about tonight. So that's something we're working on in the background. Okay. That's a live group. Tonight, I don't have a live group to talk about unless you're interested in the Push Elite, in which case you can message me and I'm happy to hop on the phone, chat with you more about that program. But I did want to put together a bundle for you. I'm calling it the Leaders Performance Bundle. And here's what I'm doing. I'm taking we're going to call it Josh's greatest hits. I don't know if that's a thing. It is now. Josh's greatest hits. I come from the music background, so that's probably stupid. I don't care. I'm rolling with it anyways, okay? We're going to take some of the things that I have taught over the last couple of years that I think are some of the most powerful things. One of them, questions that convert. This is something I taught in the Push Elite last week. It's a full script system using powerful questions that get people from I don't know to sign me up. In the last week, Ashley Drew has made a sale every day using these scripts that take away all the guesswork. Bailey's got her whole team doing it, and they're all crushing it. The psychology of self-coaching, going to give you a full training on the exact steps to getting out of your head and ending self-sabotage for good. You'll learn the coaching techniques it takes to change your life and even help others to do the same. We're giving you the perfect leadership systems. Use this 4-step leadership system to know immediately how to separate the players from the fans and know how to mentor your team. This will create a performance culture in your team and make sure you're investing your time and energy in the right people. Sorry, I got distracted and stopped reading and just started talking in a way that always fulfills and excites you instead of leaving you feeling empty. Breakdown, goals session. I love doing this with my one-on-one clients. It's the exact process I put my one-on-one clients through to find their perfect goals, create a perfectly aligned game plan. We're going to give you my bestseller book bundle. I have 2 different books. I've got one right here on my desk. I don't know where my other one is, called The Best Version of You. The other one is F Leadership. And we're going to give you a one-on-one coaching call with one of our master coaches, okay? All of the tools in the world will not matter if we don't find the specific and individual fear, doubt, limiting belief that you're dealing with, okay? This one session will set you free and allow you to finally use all of the other resources. So, I threw a couple testimonials in here. This is Ashley. I've already told you about her a few times. Signed up 1 new client every single day. She signed up 3 today. We found out during the call. And then Bailey has been using the script system that I talked about. I've been helping my girls use your flow, and we had 4 of them hit SC4 overnight from using that and securing people. 2 hit SC6 from using it. That's my win. She's been basically teaching them the same thing that I taught them. Okay. So this is the performance bundle. $999, but I gave a special deal for you guys tonight. Do you guys want to do you guys like special deals? I love giving special deals to people who hang out with me live. So I was thinking, what if we did 50% off for everybody that's here live? Like we won't tell anyone that's watching the replay about this. Just us. 50% off. What do you guys think? I don't know. I don't like it either. I thought I would maybe go 75% off. What do you guys think about 75% off would be $250 for basically my greatest hits of content that I've been working on over the last couple of years. Does that sound better to everybody? Does everybody like 75% off better? I do too. But tonight I'm doing something stupid. Do you want to hear something stupid that I'm doing tonight? I've never done this before. I really haven't. I really actually legit. This is not like a sales psychology trick. I've legit never done this, but I saw my mentor do this a couple of days ago, and I thought it was pretty badass. So I wanted to do the same thing because we didn't actually put on this virtual leadership summit to launch anything new. We literally put it on for adding value to our email list, the people that have followed us, read our books, listened to our podcasts. And so tonight I'm actually giving all of it to you for free as long as you pay $9.99 to cover shipping. We're going to send you both of the books. We're going to give you all of the resources basically for free. I just wanted to charge for shipping because here's the thing. If it's actually free, no one's going to care. Like, honestly, I could give it for free and all of you would pretend you were excited, but probably none of you would ever even download a single thing that I gave you. So what I'm going to do, it's going to be $9.99 to cover shipping. We're going to send you both of the physical books. Everything else will be a digital file. But here's the only catch. The only catch is this. I've seen a lot of people go through a lot of resources and either 1, not use them, or 2, literally get in their head about the resource. So we have one catch. Are you willing to do one single thing for me? One single thing. The one single thing is before you get any of your resources, you have to book the one-on-one call with the master coach. Because if we don't have a one-on-one call with you, remember that subconscious mind we talked about? It's just going to keep running in circles. I'm going to teach you sales and marketing. And how many of you already have some limiting beliefs about the things that I taught tonight? Just be honest. Like, like that sounds cool, but How many butts came out of your head tonight? How many butts? Like, yeah, that's really fascinating. It's really neat, but you don't know who my team is. But I don't have a team. But I don't even have anybody to ask the questions to listen. But until I can get you on a call with one of my trained master coaches to dig a couple levels deeper, that but will constantly be in your way. And I know it's like really trendy right now to have big butts, but this is this is totally different, okay? This is the wrong kind of butt to have. We do not want big old limiting beliefs holding us back in our business, and they will. Because we will manifest what we believe in here. So I'm going to give you the link for this, okay? And it's $9.99. When you pay, it's going to take you to a thank you page. That's basically, it's going to send you an email. It's going to send you an email. An email that's going to tell you how to book your call. Okay. Once you book your call, my team, I hope, is not working tonight at 9:00 at night. They might be. I don't know. Sometimes Michelle just goes to work because she likes it. Probably you will get access to the resources sometime tomorrow. Okay. As long as you book your call, we will get you access to everything I talked about, everything I promised. You just have to pay the $9.99 and book your one-on-one call. Is that fair? Is everybody cool with that? Is everybody all right with that? I mean, unless if you want to pay the $1,000, you don't have to do the one-on-one if you want to. If you want to just send $1,000, you're welcome to. I won't turn it down. Okay. Let me grab you a link real quick. I think I had it pulled up on my laptop. JoshCoates.com. I have it in the slides, but it's easier if I just copy and paste it for most of you. I think Kurt's got it over on, Annie just posted it. Annie. Annie, you're awesome. I love you so much. Annie is one of our master coaches. And she's actually one of our team members now. She's like triple certified. She's like master coach, also serves on the actual Josh Coates team. She's a badass. So go there. And here, let's just look at it together so we can see what it looks like. This way, everyone on YouTube will also see it. So we share, go to here. When you pull up the page, okay, you click on it and watch this. When you click on, I set this page up just for you guys, okay? The coupon code is literally here in the description. So I just take this. I am leader. I am a leader. I hit Command V and watch. Boom. Apply. It is now $9.99. Now all I got to do is put in a credit card. And on the thank you page, I don't think I was able to put on the thank you page. I think it just goes to like a generic thank you page, but then you will get an email. There is a custom email that basically gives you a link to go book your one-on-one call. As soon as you do that, actually, I remembered we set this up really, really great. When you book your one-on-one call, there is basically an email that comes to you with your Zoom link and all of that for your one-on-one call. And in that email, it gives you a new link and a new coupon code that basically goes to the offer that unlocks everything. Does that make sense? If you get confused along the way, it's okay. It's all just going to show up in the email. Sound good? Just follow the email, book the call, all the shit will show up. Sound good? Okay. Now, we do have some giveaways. Also, we have some people that already booked calls because we were offering them on the thank you page. If you already booked a call, all you have to do is just go pay the $9.99 and my team will send you all of the access tomorrow. Okay. If you're someone that already did that. Now, winners, did you guys enjoy tonight? Was tonight a fun kickoff? Are you guys excited for the next 4 days? For those of you that didn't even know, there's another 3 days. So there's another 3 days. And as long as you opted in to get the information for tonight, in your emails should be the information for all of the rest of the calls. Tomorrow morning, I've got Danny Detra, Stephanie Noble, and Ashley McClellan. That is going to be such a rad freaking call. Yeah, the deal will be available tomorrow. If you're like about to pass out and don't have the energy to put in a credit card, yeah, it'll be there tomorrow. Okay. Winners, $100 per person, so $300 total. Okay. All you got to do is email me info@joshcoates.com. Pre-workout's running out, guys. info@joshcoates.com. Let us know your PayPal email so that we can send you the $100. Or if you'd rather have an e-gift card, let us know that and we'll send it to you. Okay. I'll get my team to send it first thing tomorrow. Giveaways are Jennifer Alabizo. Hope I said your last name wrong. All right. If I said it wrong, I apologize. Lori Klataski and Julie McGee. Again, that is Jennifer Alabiso, Lori Klataski, and Julie McGee. You are the 3 winners. You all win $100. Email us info@joshcoates.com. Okay. Also, just one last reminder before we hop off. I have a podcast, totally free. It's called Your Push Coach. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. We actually just started putting it on YouTube as well. If you're a YouTuber, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you are a YouTuber, I guess, and you can watch the podcast there as well. All right. Love you guys so much. Mark, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Let's send Mark some jazzies. Love. I appreciate you guys so freaking much. Please remember that everything you need is living on the inside. You're freaking golden. Okay. You got one of these. It sucks. It's part of being human. But guess what? You were also born into this world perfect. And you are powerful. And what's crazy is you know you are. You know you are. It's just that you have some contradicting thoughts and some contradicting feelings. But deep down, you know you are freaking powerful and you know you are freaking amazing. And the key to success is spending more time in that heart space, spending more time focusing on that, spending more time building your life and everything you do around the things you know deep in your freaking soul, instead of spending so much time spinning circles in your head. I love you guys. Have an amazing night, and I'll see all of you tomorrow morning. Bye, friends.
The recording has stopped.